Scott, while we're waiting, do you have any updates on any of the stuff that you're working on?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Hi, everyone. Quick update that we are rolling forward with the Bitcoin Beach grants that we've launched as a partnership between the amazing team at Bitcoin Beach, the Federation of Bitcoin Circular Economies, and Geyser. Tomorrow, if you're listening in live, tomorrow is the third of our three workshops. Takes place beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so that's 3 p.m. UTC. We have a series of workshops, a series of presentations focused on some examples of circular economies from around the world. I'll be doing an overview of the review and evaluation process for the grants, and there's an opportunity to ask questions as well. Then next week on the Wednesday, we haven't listed a time yet. We'll be doing that soon, but we'll be hosting a Q&A just in case any projects that are applying for the grants have any questions about eligibility, ideas that they want to run past us, etc. Again, there's an opportunity for an hour or so to ask questions. Again, the idea with the process is we want this to be collaborative. It's not here's the information, now go away. We want to provide as much support as possible for projects applying for the grants, and then it's on to the grants. Applications are due June 19th, and then we'll be heading into the presentations and review process. So really exciting. And again, thanks to the fantastic team at Bitcoin Beach for making this possible, and really exciting, next go at expanding the ecosystem of Bitcoin circular economies around the world.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Scott, for heading that up. And I believe that Bitcoin Victoria Falls was one of the grantees for a separate project that we did through Bitcoin Akasi. They announced a Bitcoin worth of grants that were given out during the Adopting Bitcoin conference in South Africa. We were able to find a sponsor to sponsor that specific grant. But yeah, so excited to hear a little bit more about what is going on in Bitcoin Victoria Falls. To be honest, I only know the basics. So for me, I'm excited to actually get a little more in depth and to understand a little bit better what's actually going on the ground there. I know Erman with Bitcoin Akasi has been the main contact and has been the one kind of overseeing, the distribution of the other grant. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Well, yeah, we have my teacher and lead and everything for the project with the boots on the ground. Humphrey here, he's under Bitcoin Diary. So we are ready to rock and roll. And thanks for having us.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't speak out of place. You guys were one of the recipients, correct, in South Africa?
Yeah, we absolutely were. I was wondering if that was related to this grant or first iteration of it or something along those lines, because we absolutely did get supported by Bitcoin Akasi and Herman, and I had met Chimbera before down in El Salvador, and so he helped to get us connected to Bitcoin Akasi, and I think we were one of the first recipients of this concept. So it's been very much appreciated and put to good use, and we'll talk a little bit more about the details of what we've done with it today.
Awesome. Well, I would start from the top and give people just a broad overview about what you guys do. I know it was like an existing project that you guys have brought in a Bitcoin component to, which actually we've seen is the most successful projects tend to happen in that way. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about the existing project and then how you guys have brought Bitcoin in and the impact that you've seen of switching from using fiat to using Bitcoin.
Absolutely. So I'll get a little started with kind of conceptual and where we started from, and then I'll kick it over to Humphrey. He can talk a little bit more about what's going on in the present moment and what we learned from our first cohort of students with the My First Bitcoin curriculum. But yeah, this all started kind of in a visit to El Salvador, and Chimbera reached out to me on Twitter, and we connected for lunch when I was down there in 2022. And I was just kind of, I'm somebody who grew up traveling the world, loved to just go and experience new cultures, new ideas, new things. And, with everything I had been following with Bitcoin in the US, I wanted to go and see what was happening firsthand after it became legal tender in El Salvador. So I went down there and just kind of observed and experienced, and it was a great time. But my thoughts kind of surrounded, I was down there of seeing what you guys were doing in El Zonte and then going up to Santa Ana. I had, from my global travels and from my mom hosting exchange students when I was younger, I had a lot of connections globally. And one of those connections happened to be in Zambia. And so when I was thinking and kind of just reminiscing on the time there, I thought, well, I can find somewhere globally to replicate this project and contribute and do something with it. So I just started reaching out via email. The name of the NGO that we had been working with is the Free Haven Community Initiative in Livingston. And that was a connection through church. My sister had gone to church with the founder here in the Maryland, Delaware area, and Samantha had started this project in Livingston to help children with education, K through 12 education, support them financially and with meals and with extracurricular activities and so on and so forth, very similar to the Hope House. And so I kind of thought of the Hope House and Free Haven and really saw a lot of similarities. And so that's why I branched down that route. And Samantha was kind enough to provide an introduction to the president of Free Haven, who was a little bit more inclined to think about stuff like Bitcoin. And that's where everything got rolling. So we met for a year and just kind of brainstormed and thought about different things and how that we could bring this to life. And that was kind of the kickoff for the project and kind of where it was incepted from.
Awesome. And how long has that project been going on? And maybe, how many youth or kids it's serving, and just a little more. I don't know how much of the granular details you have, but it's the more clear picture you can paint for people, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so early for us. Like I said, I was in El Salvador in 2022 and took about a year to launch the project. So we launched this spring. We had our first cohort of students where we were really reaching out to the community and just letting people know that this class is available. We connected with My First Bitcoin, Me Premier Bitcoin, and the Light Node network there to kind of get the curriculum underway. And then, we worked through both Bitcoin Akazi Herman and Bitcoin for Fairness with Anita Posh to help locate a teacher. And that teacher ended up being Humphrey, who's done a great job. Again, it's still, we took stage one with teaching the curriculum, and that started in, I believe it was March or first week of April. And we just graduated 8 students from our first cohort and are working on starting our second cohort as of June 7th. So that cohort will run about 5 weeks. We do about 2 hours of teaching time each week on Friday evenings, and then we host Bitcoin meetups monthly in the local area as well. So we did have a Bitcoin meetup this May and had 31 people signed up and about 24 come out. So it's really been starting to pick up, and we're seeing, even numbers grow and that kind of stuff. So we're really excited for cohort 2 and getting continuing the work and the commitment to what's needed on the ground.
So I'm just curious, and one of the things I was asking was kind of the broader, community that they serve and have been already serving there. And how long has the project been going on prior to the Bitcoin inclusion?
The Free Haven Community Initiative has been around for, I think, around 8 years. Okay. I've been donating to it philanthropically for about 6 years. They as much as they were involved heavily in the conceptual idea, they haven't been as heavily have their fingerprints on the operations itself. They actually kind of allowed us they kind of encouraged us to kind of separate the initiative of the project, as there was a little bit of skepticism around advertising this internally within their project yet. So they're kind of they're a partner, but not necessarily a directly involved at this point.
They're waiting for some proof of work from you guys. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I love it. No, I think that's very wise, especially with the different scams and stuff that are out there. I think it's good to go slow. So I think that's wise on their part. But I think they'll see as the the youth that are involved in their other projects start understanding Bitcoin, how it this light bulb moment where it actually accelerates all these other things that they're trying to do as far as education or business programs or other initiatives that they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of opportunity. We're continuing to meet with them as well. So it's definitely a proof of work and continue to work alongside them to see how we can help the community as a whole. And that stuff will continue to evolve. And we're really excited to continue that partnership and see where it goes and see how it can, both can be complementary to each other within the community and within Zambia as a whole.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if you want to introduce the teacher first, and we can hear from them, or if you want to lay out kind of what the long-term vision and kind of next steps are, and where you see this, being a few years from now. Kind of take it away in whatever direction you'd like to lead.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'd be great to get Humphrey up here to talk about a little bit what's going on at the ground level now and what he's seen, in the past several months. So I was thankfully introduced to Humphrey through Bitcoin for Fairness Zambia and Bitcoin for Fairness overall. Again, that's Anita Pasha's work in Africa. And I had connected with a gentleman in Deza in Lusaka who was able to connect me with Humphrey. And Humphrey graciously signed up to be our teacher and work on this project as the lead. So Humphrey, you want to come up and share a little bit about your experience, in jumping into this and where we're at right now?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Adam. Yeah. So. Yeah. Greetings from Zambia. Yeah. So as Adam already mentioned, I'm the teacher for Bitcoin Victoria Falls here in Zambia. Yeah. So my experience has been amazing. I must say that here in Zambia, when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of people have got bad experiences with Bitcoin. Yeah, so when we started this project, we noticed that some people actually came. They were very skeptical and they were questioning a lot of things because a lot of people have been hit by crypto scams and all that. Yeah, but uh, from the time we started the project and we have been teaching um, me Premier Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin curriculum, and from the lessons, and some people were like almost shocked, like how come you're not asking for money or asking for investments? It's just pure education, people learning about Bitcoin. Yeah, and the experience has been just phenomenal because a lot of people here in Zambia, for example, know about inflation. They see the prices of goods and services increasing, but they can't really explain why this is happening. So just teaching about the history of money, why this is happening, and the process and the solution to the problem has just been eye-opening to a lot of people. Yeah, so we have been having meetups, as Adam also mentioned, once a month, and it has just been phenomenal. A lot of people have got a lot of questions about money, why this is happening, and Bitcoin is more like the gateway to that. Yeah, with Bitcoin, I think things have just been opening up for a lot of people. So what we do for Bitcoin meetups is we allow people to ask questions. We teach them about Bitcoin, the history of money a bit, and also we say we help them to download wallet just to give them the feel of how Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is, and how it feels like to receive Sats and all that. Yeah, so it has been an amazing experience, and a lot of students have started picking up, and most of them they are excited about the project, and it's just an amazing journey. Yeah, so that's what I can say for now. I don't know if there's any question that I can answer us. Yeah.
I'm curious as to what is the inflation situation in Zambia? Is it, as bad is in a place like Nigeria, or is this currency a little more stable? And how do you kind
Um.
of see that?
Yeah. So I was just looking at the numbers some few days. It's like the past 5 years, our currency has lost, like, because usually when we are measuring our currency, we measure it against the dollar. So our currency has lost about 50% of its purchasing power against the dollar. So, and our official inflation is 13%. Annual inflation, yeah, it's pretty bad, and it has been in the double digit for quite some time. So people are seeing a lot of prices rising, goods and services, but they just can't explain. So they feel that something is wrong, but they can't explain. Yeah. So for most of our students, it's like they are seeing the problem quite clear, and they can articulate and explain what the problem is. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty significant because if it's lost 50% against the dollar's probably lost another 25%. So
Ex-
it's, you're seeing the majority of their money kind of slipping through their fingers.
That's true.
So I'm curious as to give us a little background in the community where you guys are at. How is it a city? Is it a small village? Where do you hold these classes? What are the age range of the students, and what's kind of their motivation to attend these classes?
Yeah. So as the name of the project, Bitcoin Victoria Falls. So in Livingston particularly is known for the Victoria Falls. I believe some people here, almost most people, I believe they know what the Victoria Falls is, and so we are trying to create a Bitcoin secure economy around that area. So it's the southern part of Zambia, basically. Yeah, and the age range for our students, the first cohort, which recently graduated, we have been lucky enough to have all age ranges. So we are, I could say, from um, the minimum. I could say the lowest age was like uh, approximately. I could say should be 20. Yeah, and the oldest was like a lady. She was I would say 40 plus years. Yeah. Yeah. So we have practically all age ranges in there for our students.
So with the town being right there in Victoria Falls, is tourism a big driver of the local economy? And do you see this as kind of being important for Bitcoin adoption? I know specifically for Bitcoin Beach, having being located in a tourist town was a big driver of why the project was successful. So I'm just curious if you guys have thought down that path at all.
Yes, yes. Actually, we it's something that we think about because myself, I'm based in Lusaka, the capital. So I frequent Livingston for the project, and uh, from my visit to Livingston, I've noticed that just in a short visit, I've met a lot of people who actually own some Bitcoin. Most of them tourists, of course. So we feel like the area itself it will be good because a lot of tourists visit the area, and if the project succeeds, it will be really good for Bitcoiners who just like visiting, like traveling and visiting places like Livingston, because a lot of these tourists love the place. So most Bitcoiners, it could be ideal for most Bitcoiners to have a place where they can spend their Bitcoin and maybe just interact with other Bitcoiners and all that. Yeah.
Humphrey, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with the curriculum and what it's been like to teach the My First Bitcoin, and how helpful that has been in kind of the launch of this product or this project, and what that curriculum has kind of meant to the project?
Okay. So my experience with the workbook, my first Bitcoin. So my experience has mainly been through the students. Yeah. So the the curriculum starts with the history and the power of money, and then we go through the curriculum, and it ends with why Bitcoin. Yeah, so just exploring the history of money makes, it's like a lot of people, it's like they get the aha moment of, okay, the money that we're using is not really how money is supposed to evolve. It's like this is something that was imposed upon us and all that. And when we get to the place where we explore why Bitcoin, it's like mind blowing for most students. So it has been an amazing experience, and for myself, it has been crazy seeing the reaction from our students, and it's interesting because most of our students have actually from the 8 students that uh, um, graduated. One of them has a taxi business, and he after the graduation, he decided to actually accept Bitcoin in his business. And we've got another student. His name is David. He prints our material for our projects, and he accepts Bitcoin now. And one of the person that attended our class was the owner of the class that we learned from. And after the class, because he decided to attend the class, he decided that, okay, I want to accept the lentils in Bitcoin. So it has been amazing results, because it's like the education is really something that people are responding to, and it's making sense to people.
Mike, we actually have our student David Malinta in the audience. I don't know if he wants to request to speak and share his experience as a student, but David, if you're there and can press the request to speak button, maybe we can have you tell a little bit about what it was like to go through the class as a student. But just, as we wait for that, maybe if he comes up, I think this, just to reiterate, kind of if anybody out there is considering doing something like this or has any connections globally where they might want to, or maybe they just want to do it in their local community, I do really encourage starting with just reading through the My First Bitcoin curriculum and considering what that might mean to the project. It was really, really easy to get started with. The team over there is phenomenal as well, and just been seeing a lot of success with. I think it goes back to my first foray into Bitcoin was through reading the Bitcoin Standard, and I really appreciated how that kind of shared the history of money. So I think going through that history and really setting the students up to talk about that is really, really well done, and that curriculum has just been an immense help for us in kind of getting this project going.
Awesome. Well, David, I've sent you an invite if you want to come up and accept that and come up and chat. But if not, you're welcome to just listen in the audience there. But we'd love to hear from you.
Maybe we'll kind of talk about where we're going next and what we're anticipating from this June cohort. So we have applied to the Human Rights Foundation for one of their grants to continue to expand this project and see where we can go next. We have some really great ideas, as well as maybe getting Humphrey to Livingston full time. Merchant adoption is something that's on our radar and something that we're considering, and we're really talking to the graduates and the first cohort of students who joined us and those that are attending our Bitcoin meet us to see, how they continue to help us and support us to advance it within the local community. So we're dreaming big and hoping that we can continue to build and see where this goes. But just as we await the opportunity to continue to support this project, Humphrey and I spent some time brainstorming, a couple weeks ago to kind of list off a couple items that we'd be interested in expanding on and working on. Should we continue to be supported and have the success? So we're excited to see where the project goes in the future and what it brings to Zambia and Livingston specifically.
Do you want to share those things with us? You said you had a list?
Let me bring that list up, but David looks like David's up, so maybe we can get his experience as a student, awesome. And then I'll pull my list up. Yep.
Yeah. David.
Yeah, I would say good morning, this morning in Zambia to everyone who is listening. David, one of the graduating students in Livingston. I would say my experience with Bitcoin has been awesome. I wouldn't lie. Accepting digital money is something that I never had in mind that maybe this thing will happen to me. But due to the teachings of our master, Humphrey, we have managed to acquire knowledge about how Bitcoin works, how the world of Bitcoin is. I see it's something that we need to adopt to, because our culture is not doing fine. Our country is also struggling to handle the US dollar. So I would say Bitcoin, I think, is the future for like, say, currency or money. Something that I would say, like, it's a great experience to have Bitcoin in Zambia. Then it's also welcome. We'll try by all means to teach others as well, maybe to invite others as well to know what we have acquired in Bitcoin. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
You're also welcome.
Adam, were you able to find your list?
Yeah, I got it here. Here we go. So again, so training 2 business adoption managers. We really think that considering somebody from the cohort to work on the merchant adoption route and helping us to continue to expand this within the community from a merchant perspective is important to us. Trying to think about a SATS referral program of accelerating the graduates to share this with merchants in the area and talk a little bit about what it means to them. We've considered Gridless is doing some work in the area in Zambia, so we considered maybe teaching a class on energy and kind of what Bitcoin mining is and what that industry is, and maybe kind of helping to foray into to Gridless and the projects that they're working on in the area. Bringing Humphrey on full time, hopefully getting Humphrey to Livingston in December 2024, maybe relocating there. We're looking also into teaching a class in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. So that is right over on the other side. Both sides, both Victoria Falls side in Zimbabwe and the Livingston side in Zambia, have a national park for the falls. They both kind of border each other, and the falls is what splits the countries. Zimbabwe is having a lot of challenges with their currency as well, and there's some other further implications that have been talked about on various spaces about the Zimbabwe side. So Humphrey has his passport. He did go to Adopting Bitcoin in Cape Town, and then we could get him over to Zimbabwe to teach back-to-back classes. We were considering that as an option. And then, just looking into the tourism angle of the area and the merchant adoption side of both tourism as well as local vendors in the area is something I've listed out. So those are the things on our list, and also onboarding Keswell's Bitcoin taxi company and getting that operating in the area for anybody in the area that does want to spend Bitcoin and needs a taxi. So getting that on BTC maps and getting him operationalized there is a great next step as well.
I was going to ask Roman to chime in, but it looks like he dropped off as just a listener now. So, Roman, if you can, would love to hear, since you've been the one that's been interacting with Adam the most.
Yeah, well, we wait for him to come up. Again, when this kind of sprouted from him just reaching out to me on Twitter. So one thing I've kind of learned in kind of working on this project is I would just recommend people to be open and networking and just meeting people in the space. I think it's really beneficial to just engage with people and see where things go, because you never know what going to visit El Salvador or having a lunch or connecting with an NGO that you've been supporting for 6 years in a different fashion. You never know what those opportunities are going to bring and what's going to sprout out of it. So one thing I would just encourage people to consider is think about the connections you have, think about the networks you have, whether that's locally in your community or even on a global scale, and reach out to them, talk to them about ideas, share what your vision is, and good things will happen.
Well, I'd love to see if there's folks out there that have any questions that are in the audience. Maybe Paco, you can help me if you see anybody raise their hand or put in requests to come up.
Yes, of course. If anyone wants to request to be a speaker, let us know, and then happily you can come up.
I'll go ahead with a question. Scott here. Just wondering if you could speak a little bit, Humphrey, David, Adam, to, I know obviously you've started with education as the sort of the way to catalyze the growth of a circular economy. And you've talked about, some ideas related to merchant adoption. And I know you mentioned there in that I think there were a couple of students it was who, in their businesses and the material printer that you're working with, who started to accept Bitcoin, et cetera. I'm just wondering, maybe if you could like go into a little bit more depth on, how those, delicate first roots, through education or whatnot, then kind of sink in further with merchant adoption. If there are any insights that you have about that, that might be helpful for other, really new circular economies, any tips, observations that might be helpful about how you go from, you've gone from 0 to 1, how to go from like 1 to 2.
Yeah, I'll kind of jump in from a macro perspective, and then I'll ask, Humphrey and David to maybe share from what they're seeing in the community perspective. I think it is something that we have to consider as circular economies in very what wallet is best and what route for merchant adoption is best is very something that needs to be considered from an individual, local, and community level, and also based on what's available to people in the region. So I think that's one challenge. One thing I've been trying to do is learn about the POS systems, but getting on my hands on one has been a challenge. Deciding whether POS systems or phones to be used or recommends to merchant is a question. So it is something I'm really grappling with and really considering, and it is something that I think that it needs to be decided at a local level. So I think Humphrey and David can maybe speak to what wallet options are best for them and what they're seeing as far as, David adopted it for his business and has been supporting some of the printing that we've needed to do, including the workbooks and T-shirts. But I really see it as an organic thing. And obviously, since we haven't fully launched into it yet, we're still learning ourselves. But it is something that is that I've been working through and thinking about a lot on how to execute it, and how to best to support the businesses in the area who do want to move that route.
So Humphrey and David, would love to hear from you guys on that, about the wallets and the other tools that you guys have found that are most useful for you.
All right. So I'll go first, and then maybe David could add something. Yeah. So So from the foundation, I think the first thing we do is for our classes is we try to focus on we teach the differences between custodial and non-custodial wallets, so that people are aware and know what they're getting into. Yeah, but other than that, we have noticed that non-custodial wallets are hard for newbies. So we of course emphasize that custodial wallets are for, of course, small payments and all that. But yeah, and then of course we mention for security and others, for security and maximum security, of course, non-custodial wallets are the best. Yeah, but for our project, we focus some recommendation that we give Blink and wallet as a non-custodial. So Blink, we have noticed that it's very easy to use, and also another one is Wallet of Satoshi. Yeah, and here in Zambia, for buying, for those people who want to buy or sell their Bitcoin, we recommend Strike. Yeah, so Strike recently enabled their full features here in Zambia, so people are able to buy and sell. Yeah, but even though we recommend these ones, we know they are custodial wallets. So in our classes, we make sure we emphasize tell them the difference between custodial and non-custodial wallets. Yeah.
So I'm just curious: does Strike have integration with the banking system in Zambia, or what are they doing when you say they're buying or selling?
Okay, so here in Zambia, in Zambia, for most people don't have bank accounts, so most people use mobile money. I don't know if I don't know if you guys are familiar with mobile money. Yeah, so Strike, I think they observed that a lot of Zambians use mobile money. So what they do is, for buying and selling, they integrated mobile money in their services. So people can easily buy and sell Bitcoin with mobile money. Yeah, so almost every Zambian has got mobile money. It's kind of like Airtel Money and MTN Money, mobile services. So it has become way easier. The only challenge could be right now with Strike here in Zambia is that it requires passport to actually um, approve your account to be able to buy and sell. Yeah.
And do most people there have smartphones, or do you guys have people where that's an issue? And have you guys used Machinkura at all?
Yeah, actually, we also Masakura has been coming in handy for some people who don't have smartphones. But well, the good news is a good number of people have smartphones. Yeah, but for a few that don't have smartphones, Machakura has been coming in handy. Yeah.
Ese pinche cotazo se sacó un 10.
And David, could you give us your perspective on the wallets and what you found is the most useful?
To my side, I recommend Strike because it's easy for us to transact. Though it's not for, I would say it's not for everyone, as Humphrey stated in, like it needs a passport for it to be approved for you to use it freely. So if at all you do not have a passport, it continues to be a barrier to you to transact, to buy or to sell bitcoins. So I don't know what we can do over that.
Great. Well, we appreciate that. Paco, do you want to? I know we have a couple people that have
Yeah,
questions.
sure.
You brought up.
First
Do you want
one.
to handle that?
Yeah, first one, Guerreiro Brillante. Do you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Alguém fala português? Entende o que eu tô falando?
I don't think so. Sorry.
We need Fernando here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
or Lorena, but she's not here.
Portuñol, maybe?
E o que aconteceu com Satoshi?
No, my friend, sorry. English.
Compreendo, não falo português.
Okay, sorry.
Lo
Next,
siento.
next was, yeah, sorry. Darwin, do you have a question?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Actually, I was curious about mobile money. I know that this is kind of huge in Zambia. So, yeah, I wanted to know to know more about mobile money and how do you guys think that this somehow can support the Bitcoin adoption, because anyway this is kind of e-payment, and if the people has this kind of culture, this kind of knowledge, do you think that this could help on when you need to onboard people to Bitcoin?
So mobile money here in Zambia is because a lot of people don't have bank accounts, so mobile money is the main way in which people send and receive money. So payments and all that, everything is mostly done with mobile money. Yeah. So the like the way Strike integrated mobile money in their services, it becomes easy if for off lamps and on lamps. So someone who wants to buy Bitcoin with mobile money, it's easy if they use mobile money to buy Bitcoin with Strike, for example. Yeah, and if someone wants to sell Bitcoin, um, the easiest way is mobile money because almost everyone uses mobile money. Yeah, so I feel like it would definitely help accelerate because it makes the on lamps and off lamps of Bitcoin very easy. I don't know if that has helped.
Humphrey, can you talk a little bit about mobile money and how you acquire it? So just for those who might not be familiar with the user experience of mobile money itself, maybe you could talk a little bit about that in relation to having a bank account, and so people can help understand why that might provide differences to onboarding somebody with mobile money versus onboarding somebody with a bank account.
All right. Yeah. So basically, for someone to have mobile money here in Zambia, you just need to get or buy a SIM card. Yeah. So to buy a SIM card, so you just buy a SIM card, and to get the SIM card to work, you just need to verify it with your ID. So it's just a simple verification process. So it usually happens if when you buy your SIM card, it usually happens within 10 minutes. It's done. Yeah. So because it's tied to your SIM card, everyone has got a SIM card. If you have everyone who has a phone has a SIM card. So practically everyone who has a phone has mobile money here in Zambia. So as opposed to bank, opening a bank account, usually they ask for a lot of documentation, TPIN. Sometimes they ask for letter from your employer and all that stuff. So a lot of people don't have that, uh, don't have those privileges. So for mobile money, as long as you have a phone, your SIM card, you have that service. Yeah.
And what is the government's general take on Bitcoin? Is it technically legal to use? Is it illegal? Is it gray area? Do you feel that's a concern or something they're supporting?
Yeah, so basically here in Zambia, Bitcoin is a gray area. So far there are no regulations on Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's a gray area. It's a gray area. Yeah, but one thing is for sure, I think Zambia is a pretty peaceful nation, and the track record of our democracy has been good. So I don't think we'll have any um, tyranny on when it comes to Bitcoin. So yeah, so far so good, I could say.
And if you contrast it with neighboring Zimbabwe, which again is just a stone's throw away from the project itself, there's impending capital controls. There have changed their currency to the ZiG. A lot of the citizens there, are even more skeptical of the current situation with the Zimbabwean currency. So I do see for what that means for the project, and as there is a dichotomy right at that Zambia and Zimbabwe border of kind of Zambia being a little bit more friendly. Obviously, you have Strike, who's been allowed to operate in the area and just recently got their got that launched, and so there is a dichotomy right at the project border between the two countries, and what you're hearing from the Zimbabwe side and versus what you're hearing on the Zambia side.
Perfect. Next up, we have Master Wantai. Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Master Gwantai from Kenya. I'm the founder of Bitcoin Tani. Firstly, thank you very much for hosting the space. I'm learning a lot and also privileged to be part of the Bitcoin Beach grants round. So for me, first and foremost is just I'm very, very happy because I can see different Bitcoin projects in the space. Because when I started, like for me personally, 4 years ago, there were not a lot. So I just have a word of advice for the team for Bitcoin Victoria Falls. The Bitcoin Beach Grant is a fantastic opportunity. So two ways you can add value to your project is firstly because of the Bitcoin Diploma book, you make sure to register in regards to joining the Node network. Through the Node network, because you are teaching using the Bitcoin Diploma, you'll have a fantastic chance of getting to know about different educators in different parts of the world. So it will add a lot of value to your project. Secondly, I commend you for noticing a lot of merchants, because I've had the opportunity to onboard let's say 50 going on to 60 merchants. I know for Blink, it's a very, very good user-friendly platform. So especially like Andrew and Rudy, they are very ready, willing, and able to help. You can join the Blink bus, which is a community of educators, and you'll get a lot of value from it. So from me to you, I love your project. Anything I can do to help, based on my experience, when you're going to onboard merchants, just start locally. Let's say you are let's say you're 2 or 3 or 5 guys in Zambia physically. You can just, like the way I did it, start from your baba, tip him in Bitcoin. Every time you go, he'll be interested, where your Bitcoin Victoria Falls t-shirts all the time. They'll see it, recognize it, like it. The restaurants you go to, the people who come to visit, and they'll be inclined to learn more about Bitcoin, because obviously in every African country, our fiat is not doing so well. So from me to you, you're doing a great job, and I commend you on that. And thank you, Bitcoin Beach, and everyone involved for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. The Light Node Network has been a great resource for us, as well as the curriculum. So just joining those meetings and having those resources, I definitely agree that looking into the Me Premier Bitcoin Light Node Network for the circular economies and the ones that are specifically sharing the My First Bitcoin curriculum has been a great resource. So thanks for sharing.
Paco, do we have any other pending questions, or should we start to wrap it up?
Yeah, we can start wrapping up.
Well, I just want to thank everybody who's joined. I encourage you, please follow Bitcoin Victoria Falls, follow Adam, follow Humphrey, follow David. Make sure that you know are kind of supporting them and encouraging them. This is not an easy task to take on, and sometimes it feels like it takes forever to gain momentum, but just encourage you guys to stay the course, because it sounds like you've got off to a really great start, and for how long you've been doing it, you have a ton of momentum. So very excited to learn more about, and hopefully we'll make it over to visit you guys, and would love to see if we can get, you know, at least somebody from the project here in El Salvador for the Adopting Bitcoin conference next year. It'd be great to have that kind of interchange. So let's definitely stay in touch. Adam, I don't know if you want to close us out.
Yeah, I'll pass it over to Humphrey one more time to close this out. But just wanted to say that Livingstone's an absolutely beautiful area of the world. You have whitewater rafting, zip lines, Victoria Falls National Park, safaris. Come visit, come hang out. You know, if you live in Africa and want to join the project, we'd love to have you move to Livingston and participate. We just want this project to thrive, and I think I heard a lot on one of your previous spaces, Mike, with Bitcoin Jungle, just encouraging people that are Bitcoiners in the area that maybe that have the ability to come join and participate to do so. So it's a beautiful area of the world. It's a great project. Come help out. Come join in. And Humphrey, any final thoughts and words for this space?
And just real quick, Adam, before we bring Humphrey on, and the classes are all taught in English. Am I correct?
They are. There are some local languages, and maybe Humphrey can tell a little bit about that before he does close out. About you know, we have considered that, and it's something that is another one that we should put on the docket. So I'll add it to my list. But there are some local languages there. Again, he probably has a little bit more insight into that, and we'd love to consider that in both translation for the curriculum as well as maybe teaching in the future.
But as far as for Bitcoiners interested in participating, language wouldn't necessarily be a barrier if they just speak English, like it is in some other places. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, English is very well spoken over there and very common in all of the area. I was over there in November and visited Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and that corridor has, you know, a lot of opportunities, and English is very easy to get along with over there. So you're absolutely right.
Awesome. All right. Well, Humphrey, close us out.
Yeah. So as Adam said, English is more or less official language. Of course, we've got local languages, but English is our official language. So yeah. So pretty much everyone, except maybe for the elderly, everyone speaks. It either speaks or is learning English. So yeah, because of that, it has been a bit easier to communicate from QuickBooks. Yeah, so just final words. I could like to just thank everyone. Thank you, Bitcoin Beach, and everyone for your support. Yeah, I believe Bitcoin is hope for Zambia and hope for Africa. A lot of there's a currency debasement here in Africa. It's Leo. Zambia particularly has been facing double-digit inflation, and it's like every time people like they what they do is like they try to seek refuge or seek solution from politicians, and politicians only make things worse. That has been my observation. So Bitcoin is the last line of defense. That's what I believe. So thank you so much, and I'm excited about this project. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for joining us. Like I said, make sure you're following them on Twitter and supporting them. And we release this, on the Bitcoin Beach YouTube channel and podcast platforms, usually the following day or the day after. So if there's people you know that weren't able to, stop in and listen to this, or if you only caught part of it, head over there in a couple days and you can listen to the whole thing. All right, guys. Thank you.